Cool. Welcome everyone to this week's Falco Community Call. As per usual, Falco is a CNCF project, and as such, this call adheres to the CNCF Code of Conduct. So please, let's all be decent human beings and be nice to each other, and we should be fine. There are a few items on the agenda this week, so let's jump right to it. Leo?
Yes. Basically, we are proposing to archive some incubating projects. Before going on that, I just want to add a bit of context. We are in a long discussion about trying again the graduation for Falco, and in this effort we are trying to do some preparatory actions that includes some cleanup or improve something in our process. The first step was to review the maintainer list. We basically mostly concluded this activity. I want to say thank you to Jason that diligently looked at all stats from the dev stats from the CNCF, and also opened a lot of pull requests for that.
Yeah, I am a strong advocate of making all that automation in the future.
I totally agree, yeah. Because at some point I was confused. I was not sure if was Jason or Poyana that opened the pull request, but in the end it was Jason.
And by the way, for in that perspective, the tracking issue that I created to track the maintainers review in every repo, that has been completed. So there are few, I think, minor repositories left, and basically the next step, which Leo is going to introduce right now, is trying to understand which repositories are really active and which are basically not maintained anymore.
Basically, there are just a few repositories that were left by this review because not just the maintainer, but the whole repository who were inactive, some of them for more than 1 year. One creation proposal was proposed directly by a maintainer of that repository. I'm talking about the Catacoda scenarios repository. I don't know if Pablo is here.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, if you want to add something.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we learned last month that Catacoda, well, as everybody knows here, probably Catacoda was acquired by O'Reilly, and they want the technology to be used internally for the training. So even the public service that they were offering, the one that we were using for Falco, is not available anymore. So if you click in the labs in there, it just doesn't work. There's nothing we can do about it. So yeah, we can archive this training, and of course discussing which other alternatives we have in there that the community, me or anybody else that wants to contribute, what we can find and work on to try to fill the gap for training. Of course, there are some good alternatives out there, but yeah, I agree with everybody here that the community Catacoda labs were nice in there. So let's see what can we do. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Pablo, for the explanation. But I totally agree with you. I believe there is no way to keep this repository active since Catacoda basically is closed. So I don't see any other solution for that other than archiving it. And by the way, I want to say thank you to Pablo for all his job on those courses.
Thank you guys for the support.
You're welcome. For other repository, basically some maintainers are inactive or stepped down or are busy at the moment. So it just opened a few issues on the evolution repository to open a discussion. I don't know if someone is interested in contributing or maintaining those projects. This is the other point I have in agenda. we will leave the discussion open for a while, but remember that archiving a project does not mean deleting the project. It's just like putting the project on hold, and basically it will be read-only. So we can reactivate it at any time. If someone is interested, we can discuss, okay? So for now, we will probably leave this discussion open for a couple of days, but even you will find the repository already archived next week, for example. Please start any discussion if you are interested in it.
Yeah. Gaurav, finish it.
No, I want just to say that regarding Falco CTL, I volunteered to revamp it. I have a lot of ideas about that. I talked a bit with Aldo, Lorenzo, but also with other community folks. I believe we need more contributors and maintainers. So I want to officially open a call for contributors and maintainers, especially in that repository, but in general on all repositories that are not actively maintained. If someone who is willing to help, write in the channel, contact us, or whatever you want. We will be happy to work with you. Jason, I don't know if you want to add something.
Well, first of all, Falco CTL is written in Go, not in C++, so don't be scared, guys.
Exactly.
It's easier to contribute there. No, I just wanted to your first point in the agenda, to add some context about why
sure.
those specific repositories has been chosen. I willingly avoided them in the first review of the maintainers list, mostly because that was based on developer activity stats, and it was pointless to use that metric in those repositories because there has been no commit in, I think, all of them in the past 6 months, and eventually even a year. In the worst case scenario, client Rust, I think, the last commit was from May 2020. So basically, this is the kind of data we are dealing with. So it's a +1 for me on archiving those, but there are issues for all of them. So feel free to start a discussion like we discussed in the maintainers reviews one.
Yeah. Personally, I would be very happy if someone will be willing to help with various client dash something, because those are basically all the client implementation for the Falco gRPC API in several languages. The Go one is almost has been active. The other two, the Rust and the Python one, are really out to date and not maintaining anymore. So maybe we can just archive them for now, and at some point we will have new people, new folks that want to work with that. Okay, I have another point that actually is not only me, but also involve Jason, Michele, Mauro, Fred, and Terry. Basically, this is another activity that another effort that we started in preparation for the evaluation. Basically, we asked an advice to the tag security regarding the security audit of Falco, because the current security audit was very old. If I remember correctly, it was made in 2017, maybe. I don't know. No, 2019, so 3 years ago. Of course, they replied that absolutely makes sense to perform a new security audit. The security audit will be performed by a company that partners with the CNCF. In the initial step, I just talked with other maintainers that wanted to be involved in this discussion, and we will have a call with this company. The company is called OSTIF, and they will explain us which are the next step. Of course, at some point, I believe everyone will be involved in this process, because usually when the report will be available, maybe if there are very sensitive information, we will try to fix some security issue before making it public. But then issues that are not really, I would say, high level can be addressed by anyone, like we did with the last security audit. Just think that some not very important issues were solved 1 year after the last security audit was published. This is just to inform everybody on what is going on. I believe I finished. I don't know if Jason or Mauro or whoever wanted to add something.
I just have like a small question regarding this serious security flaws that may or may not show up during the audit. Is there a protocol in place to patch them in a private ways as to not alert any potential attackers?
Yeah,
there is.
I think there is. We have to talk with them because we don't have information yet. This is the point.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Maybe Mauro, was your question about in case you have a specific, you found a potential vulnerability?
Let's say they find a remote code execution inside Falco. Whatever. If you go to create a public PR to fix it, you are basically advertising that, hey, you have a remote code execution.
But,
so we did it already in the past, so I can talk for experience. Last time I was interacting with the people that had the vulnerability. It wasn't a serious vulnerability. It was the time of check, time of use that was fixed in 0.31.1. And the way we did it was creating a fork, a private fork of the repo. Actually, you can't do that with the fork button on GitHub. You have to create a new repo and make it private and only add the people that that would be Falco maintainers plus whoever disclosed the issue and people that are working on it. And so you can push on that branch and you can have a private review with the maintainers. And of course, communication for it needs to go through the appropriate channel. There is a security maintainer email that you can find.
Exactly.
And at the end, when everyone is on board, then when it's time to release, just immediately before release, you push out the entire patch and it gets approved immediately because it was already reviewed.
Exactly. Indeed, sorry, I just wanted to add a bit of context on this process. Basically, every security issue should be sent privately to Falco maintainers. Then all Falco maintainers will decide together what's the correct process of addressing that issue. Usually, some of maintainers will take the ownership of that and will involve other contributors that maybe wrote that part of the code or things like that. And in that case, happened as Luca explained. One thing that is not mandatory, but we are doing almost every time is that after the patch is published, we also publish a security advisory on GitHub, just to make user aware about which version are affected and which the correct path to address the issue. Someone has a question.
Yeah, Fred.
Hey, Leo. Yeah, I think related to this, do we work to also get a CVE assigned for those security vulnerabilities?
Yes, I think you can request it from the GitHub Security Advisor page. Last time we did it manually, I think. Someone went to MITRE and requested that, but you can request it through GitHub Security Issue. I never tried that feature, but I'm pretty sure that since now GitHub has a big program, it should work.
To be honest, we don't have a specific policy for that. Usually, we as Falco maintainer have never created a CVE, but other people have done it. So usually, in my experience, we just tried to collaborate when someone, for example, a security researcher contact us and say, hey, I found this really huge bug. I would like to open a CVE. Of course, we will help in that process. But usually, I don't know if it makes sense for us to open a CVE if we address the bug or the security issue shortly. I don't know. I'm just thinking
I think it's more a protocol, right? That we want to follow. Like if you look, for example, Apache TPD, right? Traditionally, they have assigned CVEs for all their versions, and you can go back, and they have the security advisor as well. They have an internal code, but I think that's it's a project protocol that needs to be established.
Yeah,
it's up to you. Yeah, for major things, it's nice to have a CVE because CVE goes into the national database, and people can easily index and know which versions are affected, right? So that helps with patching as well. But yeah, it's our choice, I think.
Yeah, I believe the only reason why maybe it's not really it will be not so useful is just because basically now we are only maintaining the last version of Falco. We don't have stable series, okay? So basically in every security advisor, we just say, please install the latest version. So I believe until we use this policy, doesn't matter so much if we open SCP or not. But at some point, I totally agree with you. Maybe we have to establish a new policy for Falco.
Right. I'm trying to find, where are the security advisory posted?
On the Falco repository, I will share a link in the chat.
If you go to Falco security, like github.com/Falco security Falco directly, there is a security tab that you can. Yeah, the Stanley was super fast, and we've got the link.
Thank you, Stanley.
I see. No, that's good. And I wonder, libs is probably part of this effort as well, right? We want to graduate with libs as well. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Until now, we have never published the security advisory for libs just because we don't have a released version of libs yet. But since now we have a version and release also for libs, I believe that starting from now, we also have to add security advisory for libs.
Especially because libs can be dependency for other projects. So I think adding them
I totally agree.
Would, awesome. Yeah, sounds good.
If I can add just a little thing for you might have noticed that for the last three releases, also in the release changelog and blog, there is also a security content section where these kind of things are outlined. If there's a GitHub issue for security or a CVE, it will get added. Also, sometimes we add vulnerabilities that we're fixing in our dependencies. So if we updated whatever library and that had CVEs, we can add them as well. But that's only in the changelog. Let's say, of course, it's not a security issue for Falco itself. It's just a dependency security issue. Okay.
Maybe at some point we can create a working group that will both follow the security audit, but at the same time maybe can think or give recommendation to what the whole Falco security organization should do in this regard. I would be very happy for participating in this, not only with the maintainers, but with everyone in the community that wants to be involved.
Awesome. Any other questions? If not, Stefano, would you like to? Yeah.
Hello. So I'm here today. I mean, I've been around for a while actually, working on Falco, and I'm here today to propose myself as a rule reviewer in Falco repository. I mean, some of you knows me already. As I said, I've been around for a while. I started in January 2021. I published some rules on mainly on security. My background is mainly security. I proposed some of the CVEs rules there are at the moment in Falco. I also proposed some rules for the Okta plugin as well, and some on Kubernetes audit logs. I'm a security researcher, so as I said, my background is mostly in security, and I'd love to spend more time, and already spending most of my time with Falco rules, updating them and reviewing them. And so that's why I'm here, basically. I also share the PR, where I added myself in the reviewer. So happy to hear from you, your feedbacks, and so on. Thanks.
I'm very supportive of this. You helped a lot, especially in the last few releases of Falco. And basically, if I had to say names of who actually helps in reviewing the rules and creating new ones, it's you and Kaisi. So strong +1 for me, definitely.
I second also Jason, strong +1 for me. And by the way, the reviewer position is not really defined in our governance. Basically a reviewer is not a maintainer. So I really believe that repo maintainers can freely decide to let everyone in, and I believe that Stefano really deserves it because he helped a lot. So +1 from me too.
Thank you, guys.
So just a question: do we have per directory owners?
Yes. Sorry, the question was, do we have per directory owners?
Yeah.
Yes.
We do.
Indeed, Stefano is asking to be an owner only of the rules directory.
Yeah, perfect.
Basically, just maybe I can give you a bit of context. We follow the owners file spec by Kubernetes. In those files, basically, there are 3 main sections. The first main section is approvers, and that basically are the maintainer who can approve requests. There are also reviewers that basically can add a look good to me label to a request, but they cannot approve the request. So in theory, in practice, they are not maintainer. And there is also other section. The most famous one recently is for emeritus approvers, just to give them credits. And this file can be placed in the root directory of the project, but also in every subdirectory.
Mm-hmm.
This is briefly how the process works.
Yeah, I was wondering if it will make sense to have Stefano as an approver of the rules. Of course, it doesn't really make sense for the whole project, but for the rules, I would propose him.
at some point, definitely. The point is only that the governance define a path for becoming a maintainer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we should check maybe in the next, I don't know, in the next week. If,
I just thought that the reviewer wasn't really used.
Yeah. By the way, I see this as a step in that direction. Maybe we should formalize that everyone before becoming an approver should be a reviewer for a while, just to test themselves. But I agree with you in general.
Because we're until now, I think we are been tracking the reviewers just looking at GitHub reviews.
Exactly. The point
following
is
the owner's files.
The point, the real issue is that we have not documented how we work with the reviewer.
Plus, I can also add that there has been plenty of chaos in this perspective, because with the maintainers list review, I noticed that there were duplicates in the approvers and reviewers sections, so which is not technically something that is supposed to happen. So right now, after this review will be concluded, all the lists will be consistent a list. So after that, eventually, I would agree. We can maybe regulate a little bit in our governance, updating it to describe the whole process.
Exactly. Just to explain why we have a bit of chaos right now, it's just because we in the past we introduced the owner files and afterwards we modified the governance. Okay, to say that owners are maintainers. So there is a bit of missing point that maybe must be clarified in the governance. Is for sure something that I believe the maintainers will work on, especially if we want to propose ourselves for the graduation again. This is part, of course, of the preparation. So, Angelo, very good point, yours.
Cool. Sounds like then Stefano is going to make reviewer. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And Luca, would you like to talk about your proposal for tagging the current libs?
Yes. So basically, since the latest Falco release that happened last week, there were a bunch of pending PRs that got in, plus a couple of fixes that were proposed and asked for by people in this call. For example, Terrell published, got a PR in that fixes the install scripts for libs, and Lorenzo added a PR that fixed an option from libsysp that in case it was enabled, which doesn't happen in Falco, but if any other consumer were to enable that option, it would crash. So I think those are pretty important fixes, and I think they could actually deserve to have a tag on their own. However, not only those fixes got in that case, I would like to propose 071, but also other things such as some refactoring from JSON that introduced change that might prevent some consumers from compiling without the necessary modification. So that's why I would propose to call it 080, so that we get our fixes, we get our refactoring, and we have a version that we can reference that has this, so that it might be easier, for example, for people that are using tagged libs to consume the libraries to compile and test our new modification. And I was wanted to ask if you agreed, or if you think that something else that got in the meantime could be too much breaking, or if there is any comments on this.
I have just a question. Will this version be backward compatible with the drivers, with the latest driver version?
We didn't change anything, I think.
Okay, perfect. So I totally agree on tagging this.
I agree too. I think we should agree. We should tag it as soon as possible, because there is a huge libscap refactor that is going to be merged soon, and I think we should tag the user space libraries before that is merged.
So if nobody has, let's say, has any comments against it, knowing how fast you are, Fede, you probably will tag it like 5 minutes before now. So I've already tagged it
in front of me.
Yeah, but anyways, in that case, I would propose that we tag it immediately after this call.
Okay.
Yeah. In general, I'm very supportive to tag as much release of libs but also our consumer needs. So if in this call in the community there are libs consumer that needs a version because we introduced a fix, a patch, or we solved an issue, I would be always supportive to tag an immersion, because it costs nothing basically. It's just a bit tag. So And if everything works, I will be happy.
Yeah, I may want to raise the point that in the foreseeable future, we may want to use milestones inside libs as well to track down, all the changes that each of these tags get, so that it's easier for everyone to understand what's changed and what's not.
Good point. By the way, Jason, I don't remember. Do we have to configure test infra to add milestone libs or not? I don't remember.
From my very limited understanding, we just need to enable the plugin in Test Infra, the Pro plugin. I opened a PR, I think, last week for this.
In Test Infra?
In Test Infra, and I think that got merged. So I'm not a maintainer of libs, but I think right now, if we create a milestone through the GitHub UI, we should be able to use it with Pro, I think.
Great. I will try. Thank you.
Awesome. So we are getting a new tag for the clipstream. Great. Does anyone have any further questions, other topics they want to discuss? Anyone that might be new to the call would like to introduce themselves? Then.
Hey, everybody.
There we go.
I'm Stanley. I've been following Falco for a little bit at this point, and I'm evaluating the tool for my company. And I just wanted to join and check out. You guys are awesome, and learn a lot of it from you guys. I posted in the Slack channel about a possible patch I might submit to help improve some key stuff. But still need to do a little research on my part regarding that. But yeah, hopefully to be a little more active and contribute a bit in the future. It's nice meeting y'all.
Awesome, welcome.
Welcome.
Nice meeting you.
Welcome. Very nice.
Cool. Then if there's no more topics, there's just the last question for the call. Who is going to be the next MC?
I didn't do it in a while, so if nobody wants to volunteer, I can go. But I'm leaving the floor open for any other volunteers.
You just volunteer, Jason. Deal with it.
Yeah. Okay, you can type my name down.
Cool. Awesome. Then great seeing you all, and I'll see you again next week, I guess.